Senator
Yes.
Edwards, I have a tech question. Brian Livingston, WindowsSecrets.com. A question was asked about internet monitoring, and I'd like to ask a question about a little broader subject than that, because the U.S. government is now collecting information on people's financial transactions through the SWIFT network. The administration without a warrant is collecting the numbers of people who Americans call and wants to collect all sorts of information about internet surfing and use. And the government says this is to catch terrorists. So many Americans say if they want to catch terrorists, then it's okay, whatever they do. But they don't want that information to catch terrorists. The government wants those calling records and financial records to look up what you're doing and look up what their political enemies are doing and use that information against them, whatever they might find. So I'd like to ask if there are ways that you can communicate to the American people when you're talking with them that we don't want any party or any government to have all the personal details of our lives, because they'll use that against us. And if you want to catch terrorists, you get a court order to follow them around and tail them. You don't scoop up millions and billions of records to look at a personal profile of our lives.
You know, I don't.
That freaked me out for a second.
I don't think you need me to tell you how to say it. You just said it beautifully. I can't say it any better than that. I think that's exactly what we ought to be saying to the American people. And particularly when you have, you know, a government and an administration. I mean, the great danger to all of our privacy and our personal freedom comes in the kind of times that we have right now. I mean, this is the greatest time of risk. And if we can't protect our personal privacy and our personal liberties in this environment, they will not survive. And especially when you've got a president, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, this one's a Republican, when you've got a president who believes they're above the law and they can do whatever they want. I mean, luckily, the United States Supreme Court told this president yesterday that he's not above the law. He's going to have to comply with the law.
I really want to pull it back a bit and go back to the geek issues.
Yeah, I have a technology
Please,
question.
Buzz,
I have a technology
that's kind of over the, I think that, not over the line, I'm not going to say, but I think there are some issues that we can help you with instead of.
I want your help.
Okay, so if we can, please, let's go to the middle.
Can I ask
all right,
a technology question? I had a technology question.
Yes, please.
The last election, we found out all about weblogs, and they had an effect. What's going to be the next technology in the next presidential election that's going to make it, break it? Everybody in this room has lots of ideas on that.
I would love to hear answers to
Is
those
it
things.
text? In text, you get my attention in 2 seconds. When you text me, is
Yeah.
it blogs? Is it something that we don't even know about yet?
I have an
ask me.
addendum to that question, actually. So not an answer, but to add on to the question up here.
Oh,
So I think a lot of us would agree that there was a huge impact of the internet in the last election cycle, right? Especially things like Move On and some of the Wes Clark campaign stuff. Very interesting. But as someone who's involved in some of those things, I would argue, and probably a lot of people would agree, that that was in many ways replicating a traditional political process. It's very top-down. You know, the sign this pledge type of approach where is still one person or one team deciding what's going to poll well and a bunch of people signing on. The join this campaign.
it's just using the internet to do what we've always done.
To get out the vote, right?
Right.
So how do we move to a model whereby you mentioned earlier you're trying to generate the ideas to figure out where the country should go? How are we using that model as a bottom up? How are we finding new ways, and what are the new technologies that will help us do that?
I mean, I know that we're doing that, but I don't know what the new technologies are to do it. I mean, we do it with blogging, video blogging. We get questions from people. I answer those questions on the blog as a conversation. It's not just questions. We get ideas, about what I ought to be thinking about. I've already gotten a bunch of good ideas on the poverty work I'm doing this year through the blogging process. But the question is, how do you empower? It's a very good point you're making, because I've been concerned about this. How do you, instead of this to this, how do you empower people and their thinking so that they're actually generating the ideas? So they're not just in a conversation with you, they're generating ideas that they want to see their government engaged in and doing. And I think the things that we've been doing in blogging and to a lesser extent podcasting, texting, which was mentioned just a few minutes ago, we've just begun to do that in my operation. So, but I'd love to hear from you about what you think.
Wait.
What was that? I don't even know where it came from.
Never mind. It wasn't mic'd.
Senator.
We do have a question in the middle of the room right now. He's been waiting a while. A tech question.
Yeah, I've got a tech problem that probably only you could solve. Voting machines, if we can get a paper record when someone votes, and also the source code. Yeah, but the source code, the way these machines actually operate, everyone should know how that works. There shouldn't be any secrets on how a voting machine stores stuff. Now, I can't fix that. What I could probably do is maybe get into the voting machines and change stuff. I want to do that. But I don't have time.
Well, some
but you
would
can
argue
fix that one.
some already have been doing that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So it was just I just want to solve that. Like, we have ATMs, and I've never had an ATM spit out $1 million at me. So someone's figured out how to do transactions and a receipt.
Right.
So you can fix that. I can't fix that one, but you can fix that one. So anyways.
Right. Yeah, touche.
Senator, J.D. Lasker from Our Media. I wanted to talk for a second about poverty. We haven't talked about poverty. And first I wanted to thank you for bringing it back to the national agenda where it's been missing for a generation. And I wanted to ask you basically what can we do to help? I've been to 30 different tech conferences over the past couple of years, and the whole meme here is always about distributed intelligence, right? One America, your website is a cool thing, but for this to really get on our radar screen, I think, there are other ways of doing it. It's, podcasts and video blogs and going out there and doing interviews with, hundreds of different of people and letting them put it on their own blogs and things like that. So we're not going to figure this out today, and I know you're not going to be here all weekend to geek out with us, but can we have some kind of dialogue about that? Can there be a forum on your site, or can you give us an email address so we can sort of give you some ideas?
Love to do that, and we'll make sure that happens. I think that's anything you can do to help raise the country's awareness about this and have them actually pay attention to it and to engage in it. It would make such a difference. It makes such a huge difference. And thank you. We will definitely do that.